When I first moved into my new apartment, it felt like a fresh start. The building was old, but it had character. High ceilings, creaky hardwood floors, and big windows that let in the city lights at night. Most importantly, it was quiet. No loud neighbors, no traffic noise, just silence. The rent was suspiciously low, but I convinced myself it was just a good deal. The first few nights were uneventful, but I kept noticing how cold it got even when the heat was on. The vents rattled sometimes, which I chalked up to the age of the building. On the fourth night, as I was drifting off to sleep, I heard it. At first, it sounded like the air kicking in, a soft hiss. But as I lay there, I realized there was something underneath the sound. A rhythm, like someone breathing. Then faintly words. My name. I sat up, my heart pounding, staring at the vent above my bed. I told myself I was imagining it, just half asleep and paranoid. But when I moved closer, pressing my ear to the metal, I heard it again. A whisper clear enough to send chills down my spine. I see you. The next day, I asked my landlord if someone lived on the other side of my unit. He told me the apartment next door had been empty for months. He even offered to show me. I stepped inside and was hit by the smell of dust and stale air. The place was completely bare, no signs of anyone. I tried to shake it off, but the unease lingered. That night, I left the lights on and stayed awake, waiting. Around 3 a.m., the voice came back. This time, it spoke in full sentences. You should not be here. I could hear the hiss of breath between every word. Then it started describing me. You are sitting up. You are looking at me. My blood turned cold. The following night, I set my phone to record. I placed it by the vent and tried to sleep. The voice returned, louder now, almost mocking. It laughed, a distorted, gurgling sound. Then it said something that made my skin crawl. I am not in the vents. I am in the walls. When I listened to the recording the next morning, the whispers were there, but at the end, there was something worse. Heavy breathing, slow and deliberate, and then a scraping sound like fingernails dragging along metal. I confronted the landlord again, and this time he looked nervous. He admitted there were rumors. Years ago, a maintenance worker disappeared while fixing the ventilation system. They searched every duct, every crawl space, but never found him. Some tenants claimed they still heard scratching and voices late at night. I decided to leave, but I needed my things. The next day, I went back to pack quickly. When I walked into my bedroom, I froze. The vent cover was on the floor, the screws were scattered, and deep fingernail marks were carved into the wall around it. Something had been clawing from the inside out. As I stuffed my belongings into bags, I kept hearing faint tapping coming from the vents, moving closer, following me from room to room. My chest tightened as I rushed to the door. Just as I stepped into the hallway, I heard it again, clearer than ever. A whisper right in my ear. You cannot run. I slammed the door behind me and never went back. I moved across the city, thinking distance would help. But even now, in the dead of night, when the world is silent and the heater hums, I sometimes hear it again. A faint voice hidden in the static saying my name as if it is still inside the walls waiting.